Tonight, we dive into a developing story that's captured attention across the nation and beyond. A mystery unfolding in the tropical paradise of Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. It's the case of Sudiksha Konanki, a 20-year-old University of Pittsburgh, a junior from South Reading, Virginia, who vanished during her spring break trip on March 6, 2025. Here's what we know so far in the latest updates as this search intensifies. Sudiksha was last seen in the early hours of March 6th around 4:15 a.m. in a beach hotel near her area of Punta Cana where she'd been staying. She was enjoying a night out with friends when a power outage hit the hotel, prompting her and others to leave the building. Witnesses say she was spotted walking toward the beach with an unidentified man, a detail that has raised eyebrows and questions. What happened next remains a mystery. 7 days later, her family, friends, and now an international team of investigators are racing against time to find answers. Initially, Dominican authorities learned that there was a theory of drowning. It was given her last known location and they were searching throughout the water, but that assumption has been heavily criticized. A retired FBI agent called it a misstep, suggesting it may have cost precious time and forensic evidence. Now the investigation has shifted gears. Scuba divers are combing the coral reefs, searching for clues, while on land, a person of interest has emerged. This individual, reportedly with Sudiksha in those final hours, has spoken to authorities, shedding light on the moments before she disappeared, though details remain murky and unconfirmed in the case. The scope has certainly exploded in the last week. The FBI and Interpol have joined local police, issuing a global alert to track leads that might even emerge beyond the Dominican Republic. This isn't just a local missing persons case anymore. It is a high-stakes international effort. Sudiksha's family has been vocal, pleading for anyone with information to come forward. She's described as a bright, driven student, the kind of person who lights up a room, making her sudden absence all the more chilling. While the search continues with divers in the water and investigators chasing every lead, we will follow this, and the world is indeed watching and waiting, hoping for a breakthrough. So where do things stand today? Joining us now is publisher for FAIA Media, Pedro Casals. Pedro, how is this investigation playing out in the Dominican?
Well, hello, Matt. Thank you for having us here right now. This is the biggest operation that our country has ever seen of a search and rescue, and it's unprecedented because in a touristic area, in a beach like Punta Cana, is like never before a person can be like drowned out by the water. They're like very easy water, they're tourism water. You know very well of Latin America, you live in Florida. So, you know, there's like impossible way that a person like is a 4 feet tall shore area can be like dragged down. And the hypothesis, and I'm going to give you a exclusive that is going to be presented this night in the Dominican Republic, that maybe is this person, Joshua Reed, that is American, is a United States citizen, is going to be press charged. Already the embassy has advised to his family that he should lawyer up. He already have been lawyer up. So is the last person that saw this terrible incident with the girl alive. And his testimony have been very controversial since he said that he rescued her, he leave her on her feet, then he go to bed. They said that he didn't saw her going out. So the hypothesis that internal investigations are dealing with, also with the great collaborators from the FBI international cases, that there were some class of interaction between them. And maybe, and this is not surprise, you know, this young guys from college, young girls, they come here, they come to this hotel, to resorts, and they see we have here. I cannot lie, I cannot say nothing. We have a rose zone here that they can do drugs, they can do the party and everything, but they're protected. They're, as long as they don't come out from the hotel. But we've never seen a case of somebody getting like abducted or disappearance from a beach. We're an island. That's practically impossible. So what they're managing is that maybe they were some time partying. She didn't do a good reaction, and he panicked or hide the body. And the last thing we know in the investigation that he's probably got some help, so there's complicity, so there's no accidental. This is a crime, and he got help hiding the body. He already talked to the prosecution, to the district attorneys, and he refused to answer some questions, following his legal advice. So everything points out that it's going to be press charge. He was supposed to
Pedro, do we
go
know what those
last
charges will
Saturday.
include? Do we expect those charges to include homicide or?
That's a great question, man. And you're a lawyer, you know this like I do. This is a great question because there's no body. There's no body. So right now we're dealing with a disappearance. And in judicial terms and law terms, you know that disappearance is practically very, very away from a murder because there's no body. There are hypotheses. So if he wants to leave tomorrow from the country and he doesn't have charges, can we stop him? Can we stop him? But I know from firsthand that the embassy, the U.S. embassy, has already advised his family that he shouldn't leave the country. So that's a point of interest. But that's a great question. What charges are you going to be? Aggression, kidnap, rapture, murder? There's no body. There's
So
no claim.
you made mention that there's a working theory that is at least being investigated right now that this individual may have had help in whatever effectuated the disappearance of this young woman. Is there any sense of who might have provided that help?
As long as I talk to the investigators, sorry, my English, but they say that the person who helped him was the same person who got him drugs from the hotel. Just today, the U.S. Embassy emitted a communicate, a public message that said, advising their citizens, the U.S. citizens, that do not purchase drugs in the DR, that they have to be law-abiding visitors, and you know, in politics and diplomatics, that's like a message. He said, "Oh, you have to respect the laws of other country. In Dominican Republic, it's illegal to buy drugs." Why do you say that in that time? So what they're handling is, and you remember, and you're also a Florida man. I love you that at 5 o'clock in the morning at the beach is what the time where the fishermen, like the local fishermen, go out to the day catch. So they go out like in the morning, in the very early morning, 4, 5, 6 a.m., depending on the weather. So at that time, there will be people on the beaches. So it could be have somebody there that said, "Oh my God, you go outside, you send me this drug. This drug is bad. Take this body. We're gonna get screwed. I cannot be here buying drugs." And
Oh, so
you can pay
you
here.
think that as boats were departing for the day's fishing activities, you could have had someone providing tainted drugs or drugs that resulted in a fatal reaction for this young woman, actually enlisting some of those fishermen to dispose of evidence and potentially even the body. Is that something you
Exactly.
know that they're at least investigating to see if that happened?
Well, that's positive right now. They haven't leaked that because they're trying to those fishermen not to run, so they didn't have to say that to the public. But right now they know because here in that we Dominicans, I'm an island boy, so we know in the sea what kind of sea you get deep in. If you drown, it's not the same to you be drowned in the sea that you be dead and put your body in the sea. When you drowning on the sea, your lungs get full of water and you're fighting and you try to go to shore. You try to survive. When you're already dead and they put your body in the sea, you float. Your lungs are already in air. You don't swallow water, so you're going to be floating. So that's the thing. In that specific zone of this country, there's no high tides. So if she was drowned, we have a local expression. It's not very high class or not very accurate, but it says the sea speed the body. The sea speed the body. If you drown, the sea will take you to the shore. But when you take you to the high sea, to the open sea, or you pay somebody to take you there, or you bury somebody, that means she didn't drown. She was killed on the land. Maybe take to the sea, maybe buried, or take to another place. But she didn't drown because if she were drowned, in 6 days, the sea will speed her up in that shore. And we know that these college guys come to spring break. They have a lot of fun. They meet people here, and they're in a secure environment. But this was not a Dominican insecurity for law. You cannot have somebody to police the beach when you're 18 years old, you're 21 years old, you're not old, you're overage, and you would decide to go to the beach. Who can stop you? It's your own care. So it's not a flaw of Dominica. There's things that happens, and it's too bad because you come to here to have fun. You meet a person right here. He didn't was part of that group, and a lot of friends that this haven't also been leaked to the press. Two of their friends said that, hey, I don't like that guy. It's very rude. Like these guys that like very forcious. Like she didn't like that guy, and she texted. And also, that's also an exclusive to you. She made two bank transactions just before her disappearance, like at 2 o'clock in the morning and 12 o'clock in the morning. One transaction was to an unknown user and with a boat emoji for $2,000, and the other one was like $600 for a friend for a Coco Bongo. That's a very famous discotheque, a club here in Punta Cana. So why did she did make that transaction at hour? She didn't have cell phone. Why their friends didn't answer? It's very difficult here in the Dominican Republic in a beach to somebody disappear. This is one of the securest and most safest countries in the world for tourism. This is one of the safest, and you know that because of Latin America. This is one of the safest country in the world for tourism, and even especially for that, maybe for the security guard to see that they were both American, he didn't want to intervene. This
Well,
is
we'll see.
how.
It sounds like there's a lot you're still watching and covering. This big announcement regarding charges is something that I think will really shape the investigation. And Pedro,
Yes.
we hope that we could check in with you next week and see how the story is developing. Pedro Manuel Casals, thank you so much. FAIA Media, make sure to check it out.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matt.